Hey, everybody, and happy Monday. It is Monday, April 14th, and this is SideKick Power Hour, and I'm your host, Joshua R. Pangborn. If you are new to SideKick Power Hour, we are the live stream show that is hosted by SideKick Productions, produced by SideKick Productions. And SideKick Productions, of course, is your queer, fat positive, sex positive production company who specializes in horror and horror adjacent stories. But here, we're just talking about real life, which sometimes can be horrific too. um, on Psychic Power Hour, we like to talk about other queer artists, other fat artists, other sex positive artists, other artists who do all three of those things together. People who make the world a better place by doing art for people who and promoting art for people who don't always get put in the mainstream. And that's what we like to do here. If you follow what I do, you know that we were just in Boston this weekend for one of our feature films with Sidekick Productions. We were part of the Wicked Queer Festival this weekend, and The Brooklyn Butcher, our horror anthology film, screened at the Brattle Theater in Boston. So much fun. Wicked Queer is an amazing festival. This is actually, I realize I've been doing festivals for a very long time, and this was my first festival where I think it was an exclusively queer festival, which is weird, really weird that I've never had a queer festival before, but this is the one, this is the first one, and I have to say, it was fabulous. I really had a great time. The other movies I saw there, some beautiful short films, some great other the filmmakers themselves are really lovely people. It was a great time, and I highly encourage you, if you live in the Boston area next year, to make a point to go to the Wicked Queer Festival as much as you can. They do it for 2 full weekends and a week in between, so you have a chance to see a lot of really awesome queer films, features, documentaries, short films, all kinds of, not just horror, but also because it's not Wicked Queer as in evil, it's Wicked Queer as in Boston. It's Wicked Queer, it's I can't do a Boston accent, so that's the best you're gonna get from me. But no, we had a great time, and it was really, really lovely. I am so excited for tonight's guest because what this person does is a lot of what I love to do, which is put yourself out there and be very unapologetically yourself. And they do it with music, I do it with movies, and together, someday we will work together. I am putting this out there. They know this before I even bring them in because I've been trying to make them work with me for ages. But I am so thrilled to have them here and to have them talk to me about their new album, which just came out as well. They've been on the show before. This is one of my few repeat guests, and I am so excited to bring on our very own Chris Conde. Hello, how are you?
Hello. Good. How are you?
I am doing fabulous now that you're here.
Thank you. And good. I'm glad I can you know, bring that out in you. I know, and also too like girl, I really wanted to work with you on the most recent, and I was like, why was this written for me though? Like
It
why
really was. I was like, if any movie is gonna be something that you would do with me, this is probably the one. And that's okay. We'll have to do another one that's written right for you. So
I had print the sides out and like I had hit up a friend, an actor friend, and was like, "Yo, can you run these with me?" And he's like, "Oh, absolutely," And so I had started to work on it, and I was like, "Dude, I don't know if I have like." I, I just knew, and I was like, I kind of had a feeling that I may not have the time, and I just didn't want to commit to something that I couldn't give like
oh,
100%.
totally. I mean,
Like we already talked
you
about
have
this,
a
but
million other things going on besides your, but this would have been a big time commitment. I totally understand that.
yeah.
So,
But
um,
I really do. I mean, like, let's just put it, into the ether. Like, we're gonna work on something together,
absolutely, it's been
sooner
out
than
there, and
later.
I'm gonna make sure the ether listens to us. So.
Yeah, yeah. Ether Smith Krasinski.
Do what we ask of you, please, Mr. Kaczynski. Uh, so where are you? Are you in Brooklyn or are you in
Yeah,
Austin? I know you travel everywhere, so
yeah. Despite this, this golden deer head. I'm in Brooklyn. You know, my room, I didn't mean to do this on purpose, but it's like I have like a cactus on my desk and like a cow skull, a deer skull. It's just very it's like giving it's giving like Austin it's giving like a white girl Austin, which I didn't mean to do, but it's like, well, here we are. But
Sometimes you need your little basic white girl stuff.
you
So
know what? She needs a little like matcha, a little like frappuccino, and like an UGG boot.
UGG boots can be very comfortable. I'm not gonna diss on an UGG boot. So, but you've got flat feet like I do. You want something comfy. So
I just got fat feet, so it's like
I have that too. So I've got flat and fat feet. It's just a mess for my feet.
we just need comfort, honey.
Exactly. You've got a very comfy hoodie on right now. So
Yeah, so I w- I don't know. Tom Goss?
oh, of course, yes, yeah.
Yeah, so Tom and I met like I want to say like maybe like maybe 6 months. No, longer than that. I think we met last summer when they were on tour here.
Oh
And
yeah, I was at one of their shows. Yeah. So
yeah, and we hung out and like we jam like he came over and we jammed for like an hour and we're like, yo, like this we have really good chemistry. And so like I want to say like a month later he's like, do you want to do this, and I guess I'll just talk about the song. He's like, do you want to do a song with me? And I'm like, but you're like the Jack Johnson of the Bears, like, so like but like I also do acoustic stuff too. So I was like, maybe we can figure. I don't know. But then he sent me this track and it was like pool party kind of jam, and I'm like, oh, I could like get all over this. And
yeah,
so I flew out there in December to shoot this music video, and it was LA, so it was like comfy, but like in the morning, like my call time was like 8 a.m.
yeah,
But like they need me, like I'm like in makeup in a Speedo at by 8:30, like standing outside by a pool. It's cold. And so it's like a whole bunch of like, hurry up and wait. And I was like, does anyone have like a hoodie or something that fits me? And Tom had a bear hoodie like this. And I just put it on. I was like, oh my God, like I need a bear hoodie immediately. And I just was like, I'm a baby bear, just like stopping around the set. And I'm like, oh, I really love the headspace that it puts me in a real, it's very similar to like a pop headspace. It's like, I'm just like, oh, I'm just a baby bear.
yeah. It sounds that way.
No rules, nothing matters. Just
Just
yeah,
me, baby.
just
So
being a baby bear.
just a baby bear. You
Yeah,
know.
but so I found I like was like, plus size bear hoodie, and this one looked like the most promising. I was looking for the exact same one, but this is not it, but it's comfy.
It looks very like I would wear that probably. And
Yeah,
but then again, I've told you a million times, I would pretty much wear anything you have. I
thank
want to
you.
just go to your home and steal all your clothes because I love everything you wear.
Thank
And
you. Thank
you
you.
are like my fashion icon. So
I appreciate it. That's like the fashion stuff really has been like TikTok, it's like, yeah, like there's okay, I mean, obviously, like as like fat people, like trying to find shit that fits, but then like that fits well, and then like makes us feel confident and sexy, and then also like looks cute and is interesting. You know what I mean? Like it's so hard, but like I think like somehow I don't know. I just try. That the secret is like I just try on like a bunch of shit.
but you probably also go into stores and try things on, don't you?
Yeah, I go to stores.
I
Yeah,
don't do that. I don't do that. I should. That's where I'll find stuff because
yeah.
I just don't do that. But
Do you
I just yeah.
have you been to Plus Brooklyn?
I've never even heard of that, so I'm gonna have
Okay,
to go.
Plus Brooklyn. So when I first moved to New York, I just Googled like plus size clothes near me, and it's a resale and vintage shop
Oh,
that has like um unisex clothing. It's like It's mostly women's clothes, but like I only wear women's clothes. Like like everything you've seen on TikTok or the internet is like 99.9% like women's plus size. It just like fits
It
my
just fits
body.
better. It
Yeah,
does.
it really just fits, especially because like I wear my pants like over my belly. You know what I mean? Like it's just things just like, and that's generally like, yeah, like women's just, anyways. So plus Brooklyn, they have like lots of cute shit. So, they have like some designer stuff, but it's really just like they just have like a lot of really cool shit. So check them out and like you can like try on anything that they have. I think that
Awesome.
they're in Greenpoint.
Oh, that's
Um
very close to me. That's like 15 minutes away. So that's
yeah,
perfect.
go and tell them I sent you. Like
I will. I'll have. Is that where you do all the videos of you in the store walking?
yes, so that video, yeah, I just did a little like influencer like campaign with them. I was just like, how do I get clothes here without having to spend money? You know? So I
Hey,
did like
you do what you got to do.
you
So
know what? Because I'm like, girl, I mean, I've spent a lot of money there, but it's all been worth it. It's like all stuff that I'd want anyway. So, but like I mean, pants, like shirts, like really cool stuff. I mean, check them out for sure.
because I'm always looking for something for festivals when I go to festivals.
Yeah.
Because I
Oh,
don't. I hate suits. I just
yeah.
they're so boring and they're so blah, and I don't feel comfortable in them. I just don't feel good in them.
Yeah. I mean, they have like I could definitely see you like rocking. Like they have these what are they? They're like these like onesie. They're almost like they're
Like
like
a
the long
romper.
like they have like rompers like like just plus size
Oh,
rompers.
I've always
I could
wanted a romper.
I could
So
totally see you rocking a romper. And they have like different colors and they have like overall, I mean they have like so much shit. Um be prepared to spend like $100, you know what I mean? But like it's worth it and it's good.
well, if you're gonna find something that's good and comfortable, then you have
Yeah.
to do that sometimes.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
yeah, and
Unless you just want to spend $20 for this hoodie that probably a child slave made.
sometimes you have to do that too, I guess.
Sorry.
I
I'm
agree. So,
sorry.
also, hi Stuart. Welcome to the chat. We're happy to have you here. But that's fashion, form, and function balance is hard to reach. I
Yeah,
agree.
plus Brooklyn.
Plus Brooklyn. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm excited now. See, I just brought you in to talk about you and your music, but now I'm learning all about this other stuff that's much more exciting too
Well,
for me.
I think fashion has been such a part of like I don't know, our bodies. I don't know. Fashion has been such a part of my brand. Like I really love good merch. I just love clothes. And like I didn't start my TikTok till a couple years ago when my like coworkers at the piercing shop I worked at were like, "You turned some looks, girl. Like
Oh,
you
we got Tom
should."
in the chat asking about you stealing his hoodie.
I wanted to steal the hoodie. I didn't. So you're welcome. But the next time I come to LA, I might steal your hoodie.
Well,
Um
I think you're right. I mean, you have such a distinct look when you perform
mm,
that fashion. I mean, it seems like it might be simple, but it's actually not. It's a very powerful and strong visual statement that you do with your fashion and your performance styles and everything.
yeah. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I love fashion. I think that like more fat people should be like represented in fashion. I think there's still this like conditioned belief system around like like beauty standards and it's like yeah, like no girl, like we're cute, sexy, and we can like turn a look. So like
Yeah,
yeah.
I
So
fully believe that. I've started to try to rock some sheer shirts and things, and
mhm,
I definitely get some looks sometimes from people.
yeah.
And it's like, well, no, I feel comfortable in it. It doesn't matter what you think about it.
Yeah. And honest, yeah, for sure. And I remember like I wore like I don't work for this company anymore, but there was like something about like you couldn't show your nipples at the shop anymore. And I'm like, we're a fucking
Uh,
piercing shop. And so I wore in protest, I wore like an open shirt all day. And like I was just like stomping, like I would like go out to lunch and I'm like stomping around Williamsburg like with my with just my open shirt and sunglasses. I'm just like, whatever, the world's my runway. Like, let's get into it, you know. But
Exactly. I like that. But that's so cool.
yeah,
But yes, you really are. I don't even say that in jest. You really are one of my fashion icons.
thank
So
you,
I adore when I see a new video and you're posting something and I'm like, oh, this looks amazing. Everything Chris wears is just.
thank you, hun.
Um, but I guess we should probably also ask about how's your album doing.
Yeah, I think it's doing well. Vinyl sales have been up, and I sold a lot on the road. So this record, it's called Eros and Exodus, and I put it out not this past Friday, but the Friday before, so 4/4. And the album before that was put out 4 years before that on 4/4.
Oh, so
So
that's your date then from now on.
it's a
So
theme, yeah. And also I'm on a label called Fake Four. They're like an indie hip hop punk rock label based in Connecticut and Los Angeles.
oh,
And
cool.
yeah, so we were just like, yeah, 4/4, that makes sense. And yeah, so the album put it out on the 4th, and I did a little mini Northeast tour. And with my friends co-defendants who are on NoFX's label,
Mhm.
this really big iconic punk band. Somehow, like, I don't know, like I think just like growing up in hardcore and like I've been connected to like the metal and punk world for a long time, and then working with this label Fake Four, a lot of those guys have been connected to like the punk and hardcore world for a long time too. So it's like there's just this very similar ethos that we understand and come from and playing shows and like um and yeah, so it's really interesting. Like I was on tour like last year, and like my manager picks me up from the airport and like takes me to this festival that NoFX is playing with co-defendants who I just was on tour with. And then I meet the guys from NoFX who are like legendary punk rock dudes, and they're like, hey, like sup, and it's like just having a party. I'm just like, what is my life? It's like I just landed in Berlin, like hanging out with like rock stars and like about to be on my own tour, but so yeah, so I put the album out, we toured, and I've got more shows coming up. I've got more projects coming up. But like I really, this album really has been just like a labor of love. It really did take like 4 years to write.
Mhm.
And there were moments where I didn't know if I wanted to continue doing music. Like there were moments where I like almost gave up. And a part of it was just like I had just moved to New York City. I had put my previous record out like in April, obviously April 2021, and then I had like was living in Austin. I was like performing a lot, and I was just like pushing it. And then I went on tour. I did a West Coast tour, and then moved directly from like came back, like drove from like Seattle to Los Angeles and did like 15 dates, and then flew back to Austin, put all my shit in my Kia Soul, everything that I could fit, and then drove all the way to New York City. And then and that was in like 2022. And so when I got here, I was like really just absorbing my world here,
Mhm.
and I was still writing, but not as often. But I was going through this. I was really like beginning my journey in like leather and kink.
Mhm.
So a lot of the stuff that I was writing, like "Come on My Beard," was like coming from these like a lot of these like hypersexual. I was just like I was just in New York City. I was like just
Mhm.
a gay in New York City, and I'm just like, I'm here, like I remember like
Gaying it up.
walking.
So
Yeah, exactly. I remember like walking to work one day. I get off the train. I was working at a shop on the Upper East Side, and I'm like getting off the train, and I'm like listening to like "Express Yourself" by Madonna, and I was just like, I've made it. I'm here. I'm doing it. And I had my little moment, but Yeah, like I was talking to a friend recently about this. Like, I think I needed some time to really just absorb the city,
Yeah.
and take it all in, figuratively and literally.
Mhm.
And yeah, and I needed a moment to really just process my life and like reevaluate what I was doing, and I'd written these like sexy songs, but then I kind of like I went through like 6 to 8 months without writing anything.
Mhm.
And I was like playing shows still, but like I want to say at the end of 2023, um, yeah, at the end of 2023, I was in a car with my best friend Chipper, and I was like, I don't know if I want to continue to do music. And he just like looked at me and he's like, "What is wrong with you?" He's like, "I've only ever known you like trying to grind and like do this thing." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know, And I talked to a lot of friends, and I was like, I wasn't gonna go on tour in 2024, which like I'm so glad I did because like so much good shit came out of that. But yeah, I called my tour mate Miles and was like, I don't know if I can do the tour with you. And he's like, why don't you just do like a couple weeks then? Because originally it was supposed to be like 6 weeks, and I'm like, I can't, I don't know, I don't even know if I want to do music anymore.
Yeah.
Um, and so like through therapy and through like help of friends and just really just like trying to figure out just like finding myself, I started writing about not writing, which
Mhm.
seems like so I don't know, kind of like trite, like but meta at the same time. I was like, oh, here we are. But it was just like what was coming out, and like but then like after I'd started writing these songs, I had all these like sexy songs too, and I was like, how is this? It didn't seem. I was like faced with this like next problem. Like,
Mhm.
is this going to be cohesive? If my brand as a musician and artist is known for being this like sexy, like thing, like is my actual, introspective work going to be taken seriously or given the time of day? And I kind of just had to reconcile like this is still all me. And like part of my brand is like being able to be my authentic self and like
Mhm.
in all areas of my life. So like me processing like not knowing if I'm going to continue to do art while also like processing like having sex in a fat body while processing, like these traumatic things that happened to me when I was like growing up. Like all of those things are still me, so it's all
Yeah.
completely valid to have on an album, you know. And so I like I actually put into Chat GPT. I was like, okay, my album's kind of about this, but then also about this. Like, give me like some ideas for like an album title. And it spat out a bunch of stuff, and Eros was one of them. It was like Eros and like something something Eros. And I was like, Eros, yes, I love this. And then I was like, okay, go more, but like Latin. you know and then like an Exodus came out of it too, and I was like Eros and Exodus, and like did ChatGPT come up with like my album title? I don't think so. But like it I think it makes sense and it sounds cool, and I think it makes sense for what it is, like talking about love and sex while also like coming out of this like artistic drought. And like it really is just like a uh I really feel like it's just like a observation of the last like 4 years of my
Mhm.
life, and yeah, and I'm proud of it. I'm just like, it's been done for like 6 months. So it's like I'm just grateful that it's just like out in the world
That's
finally.
the hardest part when the thing is done and it's
Yeah.
not out yet, and you're like, "Why isn't it out yet?"
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I just want to put these songs out. I want to just tour this, and so and yeah, so I'm just excited that it's like not done, but it's like I'm working on other projects now, and I've been working on other projects. But I'm like just so proud of this album and that it's like seeing the light of day, because like what it represents is me not giving up,
Yeah.
right? Which like it's so easy to do, especially like like I'll be 39 this year, And I'm like, am I gonna be and part of the questions I was asking myself, I'm like, girl, you gonna be a old fat gay rapper? You know? And the answer is like, yes, hun. Like we're here, we're doing it, and uh, so here we are.
I mean, everything you say is stuff I understand and relate to completely. I mean, it's the grind is you grind a lot. I see what you do and what you post and everything and how much you work. And it is it's hard to keep up at the same level all the time and not feel like is there a point to it all? It's
Yeah.
hard. I get what you were going through, and I can't say that I haven't had moments like that myself. And also, I mean, turning 40 and being like, am I gonna really put this stuff out and everything? And then
Mm.
also wondering, are people gonna like my movies when they're not always just about sexy bear adventures, but other things too? All of this is so familiar and so relatable. So your album is very relatable, I think.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's like I think especially after what happened last summer, like um and
Do you
you
mind sharing what happened last summer? Some people might not
yeah.
be aware. So
Okay, so this is really crazy. Like so I had really stopped writing music altogether. This is and I hadn't written anything in a minute, and through through some suggestions from some friends, they're like, why don't you you just need to schedule time to write, to do your art. And I'm like, okay. And so I had been in contact with this Italian DJ duo called Hard Ton, and I had talked to them about doing a remix for me um earlier last year, and hey, and I we talked about it, and then it didn't come through, and I was like, it's fine. I was just just distracted with my own stuff, and they had hit me up, and they're like, hey, how about we do a remix for you, and if you do a song for our EP or our record. And I was like, okay. I'm like, and at first I was like, I don't want to do it. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to, because I just didn't feel like writing. And I was like, oh, okay, hold on, I'm supposed to be writing. So they sent me a song, and it was just really sexy and dancey, and I was like, all right, cool. And that was Good Boy Say Yes Sir. And so um I finished the song, and then I get booked to do this tour. And I go on tour, and I'm performing the song. I didn't even ask them for permission, to do it. I just was doing it. I'm just like, no, it's whatever. It's we're playing small rooms in Europe. No one's gonna pay attention, but they did, and they really did pay attention. And so the next thing you know, we're playing this Pride Festival in Austria, and a performance of me performing the song goes viral and gets 22 million views in conservative Twitter. Blows up. Azalea Banks retweets me. Rolling Stone did an article on me. And and Hard Ton was like, oh, you're doing the song, that's great. And I'm like, yeah, I guess so. uh and so yeah, and a lot of so much good stuff has come from that, as Evie Oddly from Drag Race, who won Drag Race season 11. She had reached out to me, and we worked on a song together, which is on the album. It's called No Longer Human. And that we put that video out, I think, back in October or November. And so so much good shit came out of last year, but so to bring that all, circling back to everything, I was I was kind of ready to give up, and then all this stuff happened. But then I put all this pressure on myself to strike while the iron was hot, and it became all right, this is my ticket, this is my big break, and I got to do this, and then I got to do this, and then I got
mhm.
to do this. And it was just girl, if I'm not doing it for the love of it, then why am I even doing it? And so I was because I was oh, I have to put out a just sexy rap album, or because like that's what like Good Boys Say Yes Sir is like the biggest thing like people know me for, and I was like, you know what, no, like I have to write about everything else and I have to put it all together. I have to honor like my artist self in this, and I'm so glad I did, because it's like I think it's important for people, like it's so hard, I think, especially like being the brand, like me being a person and being a brand at the same time. It's like you want to be like, okay, it's this, but it's like I'm a human being,
Yep.
and so I think it's really important for people to see like different sides of who I am.
Yep.
Like I am a person with struggles, with a past, with like all these things, and I think ultimately it like works for me in the end. Like I struggle and I hurt and I like have gone through so much. And like yes, like sex is great, and like being in my body and experiencing joy like in a fat body is like super important to me, and like to me to say it, but it's like, but also at the same time, like I struggled with like not writing, and I struggled with like overcoming internalized homophobia and all this other bullshit, and all of that was what I was processing in my life over the past 4 years. So it was important for me to be like, okay, like despite all the attention, despite me, you know, going through this artistic drought, it's like ultimately like I'm gonna put this collection of music together, and like and I sent it to Fake Four, and the guy Chesky who runs it, I was like, so here's a collection of music, and I hope you get it. And he did. And he's like, and he actually told me, he's like, I didn't really understand why you're doing the party rap stuff so much, because he's like it Fake Four is very much indie, underground, introspective hip hop. And like, and I kind of explained to him, and like the first song on the record, Broken Altars, kind of explains it, like this is why I've been writing about sex. Like I've gone through so much religious trauma, and like there's been so, and like us as queer people, have this like, we have this conditioned internalized homophobia, especially if you grew up in the church, or especially like if you have like, you know, um
Or you grew up in a conservative area in general,
exactly.
which a lot of us did.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm like, all of this makes sense, because all like, at the end of the day, all of this is introspective, and all of this is subversive too. It's like I love being able to be this like fat, like loud, abrasively queer like artist, and like at the same time like do it very well. Like I know that I'm good at rapping, and so like that's like it's super important to me. I'm like, I want to do some crazy shit and maybe say some like really nasty stuff, but I want to do it in a way that's like layered and like with texture, and
Yeah.
like not just like fuck, but it's like layers of that, and like give you image and give you like, which I think I can do. But
From what I've
so
seen, I think you do. So
yeah. Thank you. Um so yeah, so like I'm glad that we're here. Like I took like a week off from work, just to like just process, but I'm like, I feel like I'm like not going through like postpartum, but I kind of feel like a vent drop,
well,
like
there
I'm like,
is. There's something that feels so different when it comes out. It's like,
mhm.
okay, now what?
Yeah, exactly. And
um,
I still feel a little bit of pressure on myself to be like, okay, buy my album, do the thing, and like,
yeah,
but it's like the people are gonna do what they're gonna do. And I think it's doing well, but like it's still just like, all right, like let's keep going. Let's keep what's the next thing. And I've been talking to Tom a little bit. We are figuring some things out, some
oh,
more collaborative things that
well, Tom is another person I love. I got to work with Tom on Skeleton Crew, but I'd love to work with Tom more. I keep telling Tom he needs to put me in a music video, but he only casts LA boys. So
I mean,
I'm saying this because Tom hopefully is still in the chat watching us. So
yeah, I I mean his the director he used for the song that we're doing, that's I don't know how much I can say about it, but like um I just got the video back actually from him like last week. It looks so it looks like a Missy Elliott music video. It's like
Oh, that's
it's
awesome.
like it's insane. I mean, something that like I really respect. Tom like does not like skimp on like production. He's like, no,
No,
we're gonna
Tom
make
is
this
very good.
we're gonna make this, and I'm so like not that I skimp on production, but I'm like, I come from like DIY, like
Well,
not that he doesn't either,
same.
you know,
I know what you're talking about. It's
but I'm
like
just like, I got $50 in a dream. Like, what can we do with this iPhone 4?
this string and pair of tin cans. What can I do with them?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't know when the song is gonna come out. I don't know when the video comes. I want to say he said May, but like I don't know. Post it in the chat, Tom. But all that to say, we are talking about some more collaborative things that will be different. I don't. It'll be fun.
I'm excited because I
Yeah,
would love to see you and Tom together and what you guys come up with because
yeah.
I feel like you will bring out different sides of one another and that's exciting.
You know, when we first hung out, like he saw like a banjo on my wall and he's like, "You play that?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like despite the cactus and like the gold skull, it's like this isn't just for and we jammed for like an hour or two and I was like so crazy, I was like I just haven't done that in so long, especially with like I don't know, other queer people, and like he's a sick musician. He's
Mhm.
super talented, great voice, great instrumentalist, and so it was cool just being like on a banjo and rocking out. So there may be it, without going too far into it, it's like it may our collaborative things may sound like that.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have to say I do enjoy when you post your stories with your guitar. I think
yeah.
that those are
I
some fun different glimpses of you than what I
yeah.
see for your videos and everything.
I
So
get so much feedback on that, and like people are like, "You need to do like when is your acoustic thing coming out?" And I'm like, "You're right. Like you're right for sure." So
I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited.
yeah.
You said you're planning another tour or you're going on tour soon?
I've got I'm playing the next thing I'm playing is Hibernation with a lot of McGriddles um in May. Like I don't think I'm doing anything else this month, which is kind of great because I'm kind of like, all right, like I really want to just like focus on writing.
Yeah.
Um, but then I think that's my only show in May, surprisingly. I may pop down to like Texas for a quick show, but I'm really just like in kind of a writing mode. I'm just like I'm home,
Mhm.
and like New York City in the spring is like wonderful. So I'm like I really just want to be home and doing my thing. But in June, I've got a lot of stuff. I've got what am I doing? I'm playing ah, fuck, can I say it? I can't. I'm not allowed
It's
to.
okay. No
I have
problem.
some big stuff that I'm playing that's like think of like the most iconic queer or iconic kink gatherings.
Oh, okay.
Um, and I will be playing that.
That's exciting.
Yeah. And I'm playing a iconic bear gathering in San Francisco in October. I can't say
Okay.
what it is yet, but I'm headlining that. Magami may have headlined it last year, but I
Um,
can't say anything yet. But I can give hints and stuff. But I will neither confirm or deny if someone asks me. But yeah, so lots of different stuff coming up.
you
But
should you should see if you can if they can book you for Bigger Vegas. There's still time for that, maybe.
I yeah, I was talking to
I only
I
say that because I'm going to be a Bigger Vegas. It's my first bear event I'm going to. So,
yeah.
I'm screening both my movies there. So,
Oh, amazing. Actually, if you can like message me like the person's if
yeah,
you know it, yeah.
I'll send you
Um,
the booker the booker. I don't know what the right word is. I've
yeah.
never been booked before, so this is my thing. So
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, probably like I can't remember what it's. I don't know what it's called, but whoever's in charge of like the entertainment,
The
like
the roper, the herder, whatever, the guy, the shepherd.
yes,
There we go. I don't know.
yeah, the shepherd, but the bear shepherd.
The bear shepherd.
Yes, the park ranger.
There we go.
Yeah, give me their info. Yeah, that might be. When is Bigger Vegas?
When is it? It's first week of July.
First week of July.
So the July 4th weekend, basically.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I think I've been talking to the guys at Tidal Wave, and I think they like, I think I think they wanted me for this year. I was talking to them last year. I don't know. Like
I'm
one of
surprised.
these.
I'm surprised Cannonball hasn't tried to book you
Oh,
too.
Cannonball, not Tidal Wave. One of the things.
Oh, that makes more sense. Yes, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Can't. I was like, what? I don't know. Yeah, Cannonball.
I think Z Machines performed there a couple times. So
Yeah. Yeah. I just talked to him. It was his birthday yesterday. So I
yeah,
talked
it
to him.
was. Happy birthday, Z Machine.
Happy
I
birthday.
told you that on Facebook, but telling you that here too.
Yeah.
Have you collaborated with Z Machine?
Me and Joe have not collaborated. Uh no, but we've been talking about it for a long time. We've been friends for years. But it's always like just yeah. So I think he actually like texted me last week and was like, I think I have a song for you. And I'm like, cool. Cause bitch, I've been bothering you for 3 years, you know? So yeah, I'm always down for like any and all collaborations with people who like take themselves and their music, like take their music seriously. Maybe not themselves seriously, but just like take their music seriously, you know, and want to do shit. And like, yeah, and Joe's definitely like one of those people. So is Tom, you know, like I respect
Yeah.
both of them
Oh,
and
for
what they're
sure.
doing. You know?
Tom is so chill, but also so serious about the work that he does. So
Yeah. Like we, you know, when we were talking about our collab, me and Tom's collaborations, like you know, we had a long conversation and just like it was very like it's so interesting because it's like it's just like business, you know. It's like
yeah,
okay, like these are the things we need to talk about and address, and yeah, and so I respect that because I'm just like this isn't just a hobby for me either, you know what I mean? So so yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for this year, for the next like, you know, the next things coming that are coming down the pipeline because I just feel like I'm in this new era. Like here we go, you know, like this album's out. It's like rocking and rolling, you know, ever since last year and like blowing up a little bit. It's like, you know, my guarantees are I just get paid better because more people know about me.
that's
Um,
that's
wh-
fabulous.
which is like, yeah, you know, because it's like, I mean, yeah, like I've been doing this for a long time and I've gone through so much stuff in my life and like, you know, I got sober almost 11 years ago. And you know, when I got sober, I was like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing with my life? And like, and and I was like, how do I have a life doing music? How do I turn music into like a sustainable business?
Mhm.
You know, and I don't know yet, but I'm slowly figuring
When you
it out.
find out, let me know so I
Yeah.
can translate that into film.
Yeah. I've actually like, I don't know whether, I don't know if Tom is actually knows this or not, but I take a lot of cues from him. And just like, I listen to everything he says, you know, and like he does, and I'll watch it. I'll see the way he like navigates his brands online. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. You know what I mean?
I've done similar things with Tom. I mean, Tom is a kind and compassionate person and friend, and great at giving advice to people, and also really great at knowing who he is and making sure people
Yeah.
love him for that. So
Yeah, totally. But enough about Tom. God damn. All right. We love Tom.
we love Tom, but we love you too. So, but I mean, you really are good at your brand, and
Thank
I
you.
mean, I know when I see you that this is a representation of who you are. I always feel like and you're right. It is because I feel a little bit of that same pressure. I'm not a musician, but Sidekick production is really me. So
Yeah.
there is a sense of like your brand is also, you're a human though, and it's hard. It's so hard to do that and navigate those
Yeah,
waters at times. But
totally.
I hear what you're saying. I so I am curious. Do you still get bothered by conservative Twitter and things like that, or
Not necessarily, but
have they moved on to
um
the next thing to be hypocritical about? I mean, histrionic about. I don't know what the right word is.
um so I get bothered. So I'd say like once a month I have like a viral video on like usually on TikTok because like I'm kind of shadow banned on Instagram, so like it's really hard for me to get um it's hard for me to grow on Instagram because it's like I'm so shadow banned. And so but like on TikTok, I post my little like fit videos and fit checks, and I'll get like, I have recent one that's like 50, I got like 50,000 views in like a day, and it was like it's like, oh, you like ugly fat blah blah blah, and I'm just like, ugly. I'm like, no, fat, yes, but it's like, so it's mostly, it's, I don't know if it's necessarily conservative, but it's not intelligent, forward thinking
Yeah,
people, which generally like usually falls within that.
usually they have a type.
Right. But there are, I
Mm,
mean, like, and most like, I'd say if they are gay, it's like it's not like most gays are smart enough to not. If they don't, if I'm not someone's cup of
mhm,
tea, you know what I mean? Like, but it's interesting. Like um, I think I do like adult content as
mhm,
well, and like I worked with this pretty big creator out in Denver, Masculine Jason, and he posted a photo of him and me after our scene, and it's like there's like so, and he has like 300,000 followers on Twitter and stuff, and sweet man, really really cool dude, and we uh and like there were so many comments that were just like not, it was like, so one of them that really just stuck with me was like, not DEI like porn,
mhm.
and I was like, girl, like I pay a good chunk of my rent with my OnlyFans. You know what I mean? Like people,
People would be
it's not.
surprised how much people make on OnlyFans who look like us.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and it's like it's work. I put work into like that, and I don't really talk about. I mean, I think this may be the first time I've talked about it on a podcast. But it's like I because I go want to kind of keep those things separate.
sure, yeah.
But like but it, it's like it still creeps out in different ways. Like it's usually like when someone's tagged me in something with them,
Mm,
or something that's blowing up outside. I don't know, for whatever reason. I think it's because that video that went viral last year was pulled from my TikTok. And I
mm.
think for somehow it's like I don't know, for whatever reason, like TikTok keeps showing conservative people and like small-minded people like my videos. Like that puts it in their like for you page. It's
It says
like,
something about them then. So
I mean, I'm kind of also just like, y'all made me famous and I don't think you're gonna stop. So I'm not mad at it. There was a point where I had to turn off my notifications because it was like, especially like last year, because it was just like literally like every 15 seconds my
oh,
phone would
wow.
buzz, and it was just like boom, and it was like vomit emoji, like whatever, and I'm just like, oh, okay, like I don't think my brain's supposed to process like this many people hating me for being fat, you
Didn't
know
Joe Rogan talk about you?
yes. Joe Rogan was like, yeah, Joe Rogan said some really nice things about me, which was really
Unusual for Joe Rogan.
unusual. Though, like the thing is like, I don't think Joe Rogan knows this, but like I grew up in like I grew up doing acid and skateboarding and like jujitsu, and like my friends have been my friends, my close friend group growing up, and I still have some of these guys, but like are just like silly bros. You know, and like they I think like I can't speak for Joe Rogan because I'm like sometimes I'm just like I wish you would hold people accountable in a way that's like, you know, but like and I think in the most bro way he possibly in the most way he could outside of his like bro-ness, he said some really nice things about me. You know what I mean?
No, he did actually. I heard some. I think you posted a clip or something, and
Yeah, he was like, "Yeah, am I making fun of him because he's fat? Sure, but he's also really good at rap." And I was like, "All right," you know, like, okay, you know. But I, when that happened, I had like, I had, I was at work. I was at like the piercing shop, and like, I started getting all these comments on my YouTube, and I was like, which never happens. Like, I don't have like a huge following there, and it was like, "Is anyone here?" I saw comments like, "Anyone here because of Joe Rogan?" And I was like, "The fuck?" And I replied to the comment. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Dude, listen, watch the last podcast." And so like I watched the video, and like 10 minutes in, it's like, "Oh, this is something that should go viral." And it's like, then he shows the video of me, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And I reached out to him and was like, "Thank you, you know, like thanks for saying nice things about me on like the biggest podcast in the world, you know, like literally."
yeah, no,
And
it is. I
it
mean, yeah.
yeah, and like and he and then like a month ago, this was like last year, like in a month ago, a month ago, he like follows me on Instagram and replies the messages like, "Hey man, like, yeah, dude, you're really talented." And I was like, fucking weird. All right, you know. So you know, I don't know, like weird shit, you know, but
But these things all led to you bringing out the album and
yeah,
gave you what you needed to get to that point where it's out
yeah.
now. So
I feel really lucky. I feel blessed. I feel, you know, I just feel I'm grateful. I'm grateful for like everyone who's like rode with me for this long. And what you know, I played my. It was kind of like a album release show in Connecticut, where in New Haven, where like the label is kind of based in like,
mhm.
you know, there was like a bunch of people like wearing my merch and like
Oh.
stuff that I put out like back in like 2016, 2017. And you know, and I like took a moment to like thank them for the stage. I'm like, I know you guys have been with me on this journey of seeing my content like lyrically sort of like grow and change and shift, and like I appreciate it because it's like as a human being it's like I grow and change and shift. So of course like my lyrical content would have to as well if I was
Mhm.
going to be, you know, because there may be a day where like, you know, like I like this album, I didn't really write a ton about internalized homophobia, you know, and neither on my last album. My last album was writing about processing like the Trump administration and like COVID, you
Mhm.
know, and like living in Texas during that time, and like, you know, but my first album was like, oh, it was the majority of it was just like, I grew up gay, I grew up all these things, whatever, whatever. And so, and like this album is like very sexy, you know, and there may be a time where it's like I rap less about that, you
Mhm.
know, like I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I love sex and I love kink and like, you know, so it's like, yeah, probably not. But you know, like
But you never know.
you never know. I could, you know, like I've over the last couple of years I've written like a lot of folksy, slow, folksy, psychedelic stuff, and like stuff that I don't that doesn't have like I don't know if I'd put it under the name Chris Conde, you
Mhm.
know. So you know, and I think like we should as artists like have permission to like express ourselves in any kind of way. But so it goes with like trying to run a business and a brand. It's like, you know, like you it's a risk. It's a risk
It's
shifting
a
it up
risk
a
when
little
you
bit.
put something out that's not from what you people expected of it.
Yeah, but I think like the people who ride with me and the people who love me and the people who like know me and have gotten to know me, I think like those are the ones who are gonna stick with me no matter what, you know.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited. And that's That's unfortunately a note we have to end on,
Yeah.
because it's apparently 8 o'clock
Oh my
in New York.
gosh.
This was such a fun hour to talk to you, and I really am so grateful you were here with me, Chris.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you again for having me on the show,
Of course.
and let's fucking do some shit. Like
That ether is going to make sure that it happens.
she's
So,
yes.
because you're one of my dream collaborators on something. So,
Hell yeah. Awesome.
we're going to make sure that happens. Where can everyone get the album?
You can buy it at fake4.bandcamp.com. That's the label. If you just go to my Instagram, Condi_NYC, there's all my links are there. You can also go to chriscondi.com. That gives you everything. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, everyone, please make sure you get this because it is a wonderful, wonderful album. I've only heard a few of the tracks, but I really enjoy what I've heard. And I will somehow get to one of your shows. You just have to stop having them when I'm having some sort of event going on for myself. So
Yeah. I know,
stand around me
exactly.
and my schedule, Chris.
I know. I feel that.
That's what you have to do. But
I'm
everyone,
sorry.
thank you so much. Hey, Andrew, nice to see you. And come back next time. Yes, we'll be here for another show next week on Monday night. So, Chris, have a wonderful evening. Everyone else, have a wonderful evening. It has been a blast. And good night.
Good night.
And that's the tea.